chickens, what are you doing? How'd you get out? You were supposed to be in there, but you've flown the coop yet again. So after a whole heck of a lot of chicken drama, things are starting to settle down here at Goldshaw Farm. Our three main chickens, the two leghorns from my friends at the Fredstead and Margie the homicidal chicken, are actually doing really well. They've formed a tight little flock, they get along pretty well, no chicken on chicken violence, things are good right now. But there is one frustrating thing that they're starting to do right now. So despite the fact that I'm trying to keep them inside various chicken runs, they seem to constantly be escaping. Whether they're hopping the fence of the chicken run or they're hopping the garden fence, they're constantly fluttering up and getting out of the places that I'm keeping them at. And that means that they're wandering around the farm sort of unchecked and unsupervised, and I gotta be careful about that. I don't want them to get lost, I don't want them to get eaten by a predator, and so in order to protect my chickens, I'm gonna be clipping their wings today. All right, Toby Dog, let's see if we can catch us a chicken, huh? Come on, girls. We're gonna herd you in. Come on. Come on. I think it's gonna make it easier to catch you inside the barn. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, ladies. Come on. It's okay, girl. Now, when I'm clipping a bird's flight feathers, I usually like to actually hold them like this, where I got their head sort of like this, like I'm a headlock, which I feel like is very appropriate because I'm using these scissors and I got her in the sleeper hold like this. I kind of feel a little bit like Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Get ready for the big main event!
These are titanium steel blades!
Now, for those of you at home who have to deal with a situation like this and you're wondering what you should be looking for, here's the chicken's wing. And so it's spread out and you can kind of see it here. So see these long feathers here, the ones on the outer edge? Those are the flight feathers. But if you look a little bit closer, right, and you see these shorter feathers, those are the feathers that you don't want to cut. You won't hurt her though if you use those feathers as kind of like your cutting line. So you can just go zoop right across there. And when you cut a chicken's flight feathers too, you know, you're not gonna really hurt them in any way other than the fact that they won't be able to fly. They still have their main feathers, which keeps them nice and warm and keeps them protected. You know, you're not gonna do any damage to the feather itself if you're cutting along this line too. So this is just a really easy operation. You can do it solo or you can do it with a friend. I'm gonna do it solo here. Again, just cut right along that line. She doesn't even seem to notice, right? Ta-da! I could probably actually even get away with only doing one wing, but I don't know. There we go. And that really all there is to it. So now she can't really fly. She does look a little bit more indignant, and now I'm confident that she won't get out of her chicken run or the garden if I choose to put her out there, which are all good things. This white one here is Sophia, and the other one that you can see out here, her name is Dorothy, or as my friend Steve at the Fredstead liked to call her, Dottie. We had some good name submissions. The runner-up was actually Patty and Selma. So given we have Marge or Margie the chicken, it seemed kind of appropriate for her sisters to be named Patty and Selma.
Marge, we had a deal. Your sisters don't come here after 6 and I stop eating your lipstick.
But Allison didn't really like that one. She's never really been much of a Simpsons fan. And so we've ended up with Sophia and Dottie. Don't go over in there, Margie, please. I got you there, Margie. Again, I think it's actually easy to see the distinction on Margie here. Because Sophia was all white, it's a little trickier. So if you look in here, right, so you can see it. So these are the regular feathers. Again, these long ones, and they even feel different too. They feel like the quill of a pen, like an old-fashioned pen, that type of a feather. Versus these feel more, not quite like down, but they're definitely softer. But yeah, you can use those regular feathers as the guideline for where to cut. Hey, easy girl, hey. Margie, you have the most spirit of all of our chickens, that's for dang sure. There we go, girl. There you go, free to go. See? No pain, no problems, nice and easy. Just a couple quick snips of the feather and it's ready to go. Margie's really settled in too. With the two new chickens, I think she's found some balance. All right, let's go get that third chicken. I can see her right up there. Hey girl, what you doing? Let's go, Dottie. Oh, yep, just stay right there. Nice, that's a good girl, Dottie. You're a good girl. Oh, take it easy, Justin. Take it easy, huh? Because I know some of you guys are probably watching this video right now as an instructional, so look for those flight feathers. If you look for those flight feathers and you don't try to crop it too short, this is like one of the easiest things you can possibly do. There we go. That's one. There you go, girl. Hey. All right, now hopefully I have 3 chickens who will not escape. A lot of times I'll get comments and questions from viewers who are gonna ask if I'm gonna clip my duck or goose wings. I actually haven't had to do that because our farm ducks, as you've seen in previous videos, just can't really fly all that well. So since they can't fly, there's no real good reason to clip their wings. No reason for the extra effort, I guess. Now you guys might be noticing that I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 geese right now. The reason for that is I have a 5th goose and she is working on a special project for me. For right now, we're just gonna leave her alone and let her do her thing, but I will show you guys what she's doing in a future video. And if you have any guesses, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. So I just went to the grocery store for the first time in like a month, and it was kind of weird. Like I really haven't left the farm much other than to go to like the post office. You know, just seeing all those empty shelves and wearing a mask and being around people wearing masks. You know, generally speaking, we've been getting pretty much all of our groceries from the pantry or the freezer or farms of friends. But you know, every so often you got to go into town to get kind of some of the staples. You know, one weird quirk about what's going on right now is that you're going to find a lot of like fresh fruits and vegetables expiring because people's buying patterns are completely different. You know, it's hard to find things like pasta and beans and rice and that sort of thing, but like fresh veggies are much more plentiful, which is kind of weird. But because they have expiration dates, the stores are having to cut prices. Like I just got this head of lettuce for like pocket change, and so I figured I would just buy it and, you know, give it to the animals. How's my dog? Huh? Lil hates to be pet. Pablo loves to be pet. Isn't that right, buddy? But with the green grass popping up, it also means it's time to say goodbye to maple sugaring season. This year's sugaring season wasn't nearly as good to us as last year. I think part of it was the weather. We have a much earlier spring coming compared to last year, and we haven't had as many of those freeze-thaw day-night patterns like we did last year. But I think the other problem is, you know, maple sugaring is kind of like a community event, and given all the stuff going on, there just hasn't been as many opportunities to get together as a community and boil sap and hang out and really enjoy the season, so that's kind of a bummer. Ooh, this one's full. So I've been asked before, like, what does it look like when you shouldn't use the sap? This right here, this bucket is a good example of it. Got a couple things going on. If you notice, it's got kind of a cloudy, milky color to it. It's also somewhat like yellow tinged. So those are the two signs that it's really not good. I guess the third sign would be that it's got all these bugs in it, which is kind of gross, but you know. Onward soldiers, woo! Dog, keeping watch of the flock. Toby, sit. Toby, sit. Boy, thank you, pup. You being good? I didn't want Toby going too close to the road while I was gathering the sap buckets, because most of our maples are right along the road. So I left him in here with the ducks, and he did good. I've been leaving him with the ducks more and more unsupervised, and he keeps doing so good. So in my last video, I showed you guys how I was able to call the ducks in from out on the pond. But I told you that usually they will come in on their own. Well, if you look here, they are pretty much all just here right now, hanging out. The door blew closed, so they're probably actually a little perturbed that they couldn't even go in on their own. All ducks, go to bed! All ducks, go to bed! Come on, you two, come on. Let's go, Samson. Let's go, Spicy. Come on, in you go. Time today, huh, Samson? Son of a gun! What the? Chicken, how did you even escape this time, huh? How did you guys get out of your house,